So we're going to start with creating databases. So we'll start with user. We need to add one more thing here is username. So we're going to capture the username in the database. It's going to be text. So, and after this we're going to start with creating forms, as in creating a database for form where we're going to store all the forms, form name and form value. We're going to store it, and let's call it. We're going to create a first field as name of the form. It's going to be text, and then we're going to have published. So we're going to check for if the form is published or not. So it's going to be yes or no. So create this, and by default it's going to be no. So whenever you create a new form, it's not going to be published by default until you publish it. After this, we're going to create another data data type as question, and another data type as choice. We're going to use this choice for the multiple choice questions and the answer. So in the question, we're going to add few things. Question and so what's the question? Like, is it what's 2 plus 2? Whatever you want to store it into the form. So it's going to be text and question form. So we're going to store which form does this question belongs to. So question form, perfect. And then we're going to create another set as a type of question we are storing. So is it a short answer? Is it a multiple choice question? So for that we are going to create a option sets. So the option set would be question type, and in this question type we are going to create different options, as in short answer and multiple choice. We're going to move ahead with only two options right now. In later stages you can add more type of questions. So let's say if you want to have single choice question, as in list of choices, and you want to have user to only select one choice of it, and you could have option set as in only emails, phone numbers, or different sort of option choice you want. So going back to the data types, and now in the question data type, we're going to create another field as type of question, and we're going to refer it to the question option set which we just created. So type of question, and the field type would be question type which we created in the option set. Perfect. And in choice we're going to have two field there. One would be choice name. So what's the choice? The choice name, of course. Text and choice question. So which question does this choice belongs to? And in the answer, we are going to create essentially three fields. One would be answered material. So what's the answer basically? Second would be answer question. So which question does this answer belongs to? And third would be answer form. So which form does this answer belongs to? We might not need to save this thing, but let's keep it for now, and later on we'll if we won't require, we'll remove it. All right, so I guess pretty much this is it in the database type. Yep. Shall we also let's also take a profile picture of the user. It gives it. Leave it. Anyhow, so let's go back to the index page now, and in the index page we are going to start with header so that user can log in first. And in the header we don't require this bubble form or FAQ, but we're going to modify them to the current username so that we'll know which user is using this application. I'm going to use the FAQs and change this to current user name. Perfect. And since we have created a data type of name in the user database, but the basic sign up flow of Bubble doesn't capture that thing. So we are going to change a slight change in the sign up flow. So go to the sign up pop up, and here we don't require confirm password. Okay, bring them here, and we need a name input. Name, change its name, so it doesn't create any confusion there. So when user click on the sign up, it's currently using a workflow, but we need to make slight changes in the current workflow. So we first of all, we don't require the password confirmation, so we are going to uncheck it, but we do need to capture the name of the user. So name would be is going to be equals to the input name signups value. Perfect. So now we can, now the whatever the user will enter name on this, on that inbox input value, it's going to store in the database. So with that, I guess let's start by creating our first form. So we're going to have an input box. We're going to have a button to call that, to call the workflow, and this is going to be enter form name. It's going to be create form. So on the click of this button, what we want to do is we want to create a new thing. We want to create a new form stating form name is equals to the input enter form names value. Perfect. And once it's created in the database, I'm also going to change one more thing, so that it doesn't stick. Whatever you enter into this is going to stick until you reset its input value. So what we're going to do is, once the form is created, once this step is performed, after this, it should reset its input value. Okay. So now we're going to have a, list of form which whatever the user has created. So we're going to have put repeating group here, and this is a type of content is form. And what we are doing is, we are going to do a search for all the forms where the created by is equals to the current user. So we're going to fetch a list of all the form which this current user has created. Change it to full list. Let's add, it's going to be represented as form name. Say okay, insert a dynamic current cell form name. It's going to show the name of the form, and we're going to add then two, let's add two button here. One would be to view result, and would be to go to live form. Okay, so let's test this out, if we are able to create the form here, which I feel we should be able to. All right, just sign up first. Say test. Oh, it's showing us red. I tell you why, because we haven't changed the type of content for this. So the content format should be text, not email. Otherwise, it's keep on asking for until it gets a validated email, which means the name should have at and dot com or dot something in it. So let's go back here and refresh it. Okay, when signing up now, it's not going to show us red. Yeah, perfect. Yes, sign. Let's create our first form number one. Perfect. Now it's here, and the input value is also resetted. Perfect. So let's go back to the index, and now we want is, whenever user click on this form name, it should go to the form builder. So for that, we are first going to create a new page as form builder. clone the index page and delete rest of the element. And for the form builder, we want the type of content should be form. So we're going to go back in the index and we're going to trigger a workflow on whenever user click on this name, stating navigate to. So what we are saying is send the user to a different page to the form builder. So we're going to say navigation, go to the page, form builder, and send the data of current cell form. Let's go back to the form builder and just start adding stuff here. So in the form builder, what we essentially want is plus button to create new question, and publish button to publish the complete form, and the name of the form should be highlighted there. And whenever you create new question, you should be enter the question content. If you're creating a multiple choice question, then you should be able to create the question content as well as the choices. So let's begin with uh, keep it here as it's going to it's going to give us the current page form name, and the body type can be h2 heading talk to, since it's the heading, so let's keep it this way. And we're going to have one button here, as in it's going to trigger the add question. So now we have two types of question: short answer and multiple choice. For that, we're going to need a drop down here, but the traditional drop down won't work because we want to fill it up with the option set of our choice from the databases. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a let's create a focus group here, and focus group should always be linked to some element of the page. So we're going to say this should be linked to the button add question, so it's always going to be linked or referred to that page always. Let's increase its height for now because I know the repeating group it's going to be big. Yes, it's here. So let's reduce it, change its row to 2. Since we know we are only going to be using two options, and I'm using it as 2. If you have more option set, change it to full list probably. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to define the type of content to this repeating group. So we are going to say this repeating group is question type, data source is all question type, and the text we it's going to show the the name of the question type. So it's going to fetch the value from insert dynamic data, as in current cell question types display. So what's it's saying is it's going to display the name of the option set, which whatever the option set has the value. All right. So after this, we're going to we what essentially what we would want is whenever user click on this add question, this drop down comes up, and user can select from here, and this pop up should go away whenever user clicks somewhere else or on this button. So we're going to trigger a workflow stating toggle. We are not going to be using show or hide things, otherwise since it's a focus group, it takes the toggle command. So we are saying keep toggle the group focus a. That's it. Let's preview this just to check if we are able to create this. Perfect. So if you click on this, it appears. If you click somewhere else, it exits. If you click here, click somewhere else. If you click on perfect, it's fine. I'm just going to change it to full list, otherwise, so that we won't see this little scroll bar here. All right. So now, perfect. I'm just going to hide it for now so that we can work on the other elements. So now, whenever you are sorry, let's unhide it. So what we want is essentially whenever user click on this cell, ideally selecting any of these value. It means if they want to create a short answer question or if they want to create a multiple choice question, so we would want to create a question in our database whenever user select any of these. So what we're going to say is, uh, whenever user click on this text, start a workflow, create a new thing, create a question. Let's add all the field. Question content would be blank. Question form is the current page form, and type of question is the current cell question types. Okay, so what we are saying is ki whatever the value of this option set, so in future if you add abc there in the option set, it's going to store the question type as the value of that option set. All right, let's preview this quickly, and I'm just going to show you in the database it's storing the value of the option set. So whenever you click on this, click on the short answer, it's not going to be changing anything here, but if you go to data and go to the app data, in the question it's going to store short answer. It doesn't have the why isn't this, oh, we don't have the form because it was taking lorem ipsum. It doesn't have the form number from the previous page, so we're just going to delete it. Perfect. So now essentially what we want is now to create, to be able to enter the question content. So what's the question about, is it, what are the choices and everything. So for that what we're going to do is going to use a repeating group, and this repeating group is basically going to show all the questions whichever you're creating in this form. So the type of content is question, and do a search for all the questions where the question form is equals to the current page form, and we're going to sort sort it as a by the in the ascending order as they created. All right, so let's change it to 2, full list. In fact, let's change it to 1. So now we what we are going to do is we're going to have multiple options. So in this repeating group itself, we are going to create different groups, as in stating is it a short answer or is it a multiple choice question. So I'm just going to change its style background to some color. Just keep it here. Yeah. So in this one, we're going to add one text. So text is just, I'm just writing this as a representation. What's this group about? So it's going to be short answer question. So short answer question, and we're going to have one input field here. And this input field will hold the value of the question. So what the question is about. And let's rename this group to group short answer. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto bind this to the question, but for that we're going to define the group short answer type of content is question. So what we're going to say is auto bind this to the question content, but it's going to show us an error here. So because we need to change a bit of a privacy setting, which is not which is I'll show you. So we're going to change a privacy setting of the question. So that bubble allows to auto bind it to the database. Define question. User is logged in. Auto bind question content. Perfect. And we're just going to have one more delete button here so that we can add question, delete question, things like that. We're just going to add icon here. It's going to be remove What's going to do is it's going to delete thing current cell question. So it's going to delete the current cell question from the database. So this is a short answer question. Okay, short answer is a one liner answer we require. So what we're going to change is we're going to define a condition that whenever the current cell question type of question is short answer, then only this element should be visible. All right, but we are also going to uncheck the element is visible on the page load so that it doesn't load automatically every time the repeating group is going to check if the type of question is short answer, then only it should appear. So once it's changed, now we're going to make a similar group for the different type of question which is multiple choice. So we're going to copy paste it to save our time and just change it to choice. All right, perfect. This one also I just choice. Perfect. This is going to be right here. Should also change this to this one. All right. But in the multiple choice of question, we are going to have a choices, of course. So we are going to start with creating a choice. So what we are going to do, what the exact same thing we did for the questions, we do the exact same thing for the choices as well. But so it's going to be repeating group inside a repeating group. So what we're going to do is let's start by creating a repeating group. And just bring it here. Yeah. Full list, and the type of content would be choice. And what we are going to do is we are going to do a search for, sorry, we are going to do a search for all the choices where the question is the current cell question. So we're going to go to search for all the choices where the choice question is equals to the parent group question. Perfect. So now let's have it here, and let's add a input box in this one. Yeah, it's going to be the choice name. So it's going to be enter choice. All right. Again, what we're going to do is auto bind it to the choice itself. Choice name. It's going to give us the same warning again. We're going to go to choices, define a new rule as in choice binding. And the current user is logged in, and auto binding is choice name. Perfect. And we also going to add one more button here the way we did for the question. So every time you click add question, it adds one question in the database. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for choices. So we're going to add a button here, going to say add choice workflow. What it does is it creates a new thing in the choice where the choice name, we don't have to capture the choice name right now because it can be left blank. I mean it's auto binded to the database, so the user can directly enter the choice name in the input field itself. So the choice question is equals to the parent group question. Perfect. So this is a multiple choice question. I'm just going to, yeah, it's there, and it's already had a condition since we copy pasted it. So I'm just going to change the last bit of it, which is short answer. So it should when the current cell question type of question is multiple choice, this element should be visible. And similarly, this element is not visible on the page load since we copy pasted the same element. So let's test it out. Okay, it's not going to show any value. Why? Because it has lorem ipsum right now, because it doesn't have any the concrete form value. So we're going to go to the previous page, see all the forms which you have created. So I'm going to click on form number one. Now when you go to the next page, it has form number one. Let's start by creating short answer. We have our short answer here. Click on multiple choice. We have our multiple choice. Perfect. Let's try to create this. What is 2 plus 2? Fairly easy question. And here this, how's the mood? Okay, it's not creating any choice. It must be creating must be creating choices, but we are not able to see it. Reason being, let's check it. Why is it not happening? Choice. Okay, something is here. It's not showing us the concrete value. Okay, let's check it. Why is it not happening? Let's change it to into choice name. Yeah, perfect. Did it even created any choices in the? It did created three choices, but it's not doing it perfectly. So where is it going wrong? Is on the add choice, create a new choice, parent group option. Yeah, but this also has the question in itself. Okay, in the questions. Okay, just go back here and test. Why is it not happening? In the short answer, we are saying question content. It's auto binded to question content. Even in here, it's auto binded to question content. That's right. This one is auto binded to choices. Let's just go back to the home page and try it again. Okay, create a new form two, form form number two. The choice. Mode choice. Let's go back and test. Okay, it's not storing the question content. All right. All right. So I think I know the reason why, because we haven't defined the data source. So the current cell questions, even in this one, current cell question. Perfect. And let's just test it out. This one, it should be working. It should be working perfectly. Yeah. Did you see a loading bar going from left to right? It means it's happening. How's the mood? Head choice. Fantastic. Good. All right. So if you go back to the data types in the questions, we are saying how's the mood, what is 2 plus 2, and in the choices, we're going to have super good and good. Fantastic.